Hello, hello. Hello. Hi. MJ, Ryu, Glacier, Fruit Fly. Uh, MJ, you're first. Oop, there he is. Oop. I'm going to be swatting at him the whole day. I guarantee it. Glacier, you're not first. Congratulations. Ryu, you're not first. Congratulations. Hi. Glacier's on lurk. Happy lurking. I wish you luck. There's a fruit fly. He's so small that I lose track of him, but he keeps flying near my face. So eventually we're going to just get really mad at him and do a flail. Um, what have we got? What we've got is that heap of vegetables and fruits from the discount bin. Some of them are going to go off quicker than others. The blackberries are the ones that give me the most worry, although the tomatoes are going to be the sort of next stage past that. What we've also got is chicken that I also found in the discount bin. And yeah. And I had a little bit of it for lunch, but then I put the rest of it on this tray to let the surface dry out in the fridge because it came out of one of those shrink wrap things. And I was brainstorming what to do with it beyond this. Well, I came up with one. I came up with one that's going to use the blackberries and the chicken. Purple chicken. Purple chicken being orange chicken but purple. That's the concept. That's the concept I'm working with. That's where we're going. Which also means we're frying today. So, jug of oil ho. Yeah, I guess we're gonna see how that works. Let me grab some stuff. Blackberries. We're gonna sort through the blackberries. Discount berries are often a little bit on the gnarly side. Oop, we're gonna use that pepper too because it's got some gnarls to it. Berries are a little on the gnarly side. They don't keep super long, so we are going to try to use them rapidly. I'm going to put the chicken back in the fridge until I actually directly need it so that it stays nice and chilled. And also so that that fruit fly doesn't find it. I'm sure the fruit fly is in here because fresh produce. Fresh produce that's not super fresh. Um, Here's the other thing I'm going to add to this. Some of that fail plum jam, which I intend to use in place of any other type of sugar. Your orange chicken marinade has quite a bit of sugar in it, and I don't want to add any more sugar, and there's a lot of sugar in these syrups, which were supposed to be jams, and the sugar's supposed to help them jam, and they didn't. And then we've got options to maybe throw in broccoli, but I feel like that's not going to be necessary. And then a starch. Our starch options are classic rice, noodles, or tteokbokki. Uh, and I'll guess I'll leave it up to you guys as to which one you like. Rice is the classic. Tteokbokki might make for an interesting plating experience. Otherwise, I've got lots of instant noodles. And I guess that's generally our plan. That's generally our plan today. Um, Hopefully, not going to produce a ton of dishes, and we're going to try frying in the wok because I think I'll end up using a little less oil that way because of the way the wok is shaped. It narrows toward the bottom, so you can get more depth without quite as much oil. The downside being that you end up having to uh, fry in smaller batches. We need purple again, different purple. Hi, Bookwoman. Blackberry purple and a little bit of plum we're throwing in there. We need our garlic and onion. We need, I'm actually going to pull out this stuff. I have fallen in love with this, which is just a big jar of fried garlic. I have fallen in love with this product. It gives you such a nice sort of crunchy texture and a very, even yet again a different garlic flavor. I think we're gonna need chili pepper. But yeah, turns out the fruits that I am acquiring are mostly purple these days. We're going to throw in 4 chilies, but I'm not going to chop them up. We're going to leave them whole. We're going to go with that sort of whole infusion route that so there'll be nice bright red chilies at the end, hopefully, in theory. Also, I've got a lot of dried citrus. We have grapefruit, lemon, and orange in here. Ow. Oh, ow. Earthquake for you guys. Ow for me. I leaned right into the knob. Ow. Unfortunately, the oranges are at the bottom. I was going to pull out an orange. Interesting how lemons and grapefruits do some real different things when you dry them. And yes, I know I've got a ton of these. It's because I'll get one of those big. It'll be one of those big bags for $1, and then I'll not be able to use it all, and I'll throw it in the dehydrator. So yes, I dehydrated all of these. This whole thing is about what is this? Is about $3 worth of discount citrus, discount various citruses. And I just blast them in the dehydrator until they are rock hard. Four oranges. There we go. But yeah, I did dehydrate all of these. Don't think I'm going to keep that one. It's just a piece of rind I got in there. So, the plan there. Oh, I need my boards. No, not that board. I need the other board. I need the other board. Okay, the plan here. we're going to add a little orange to our purple chicken. Nearly dropped that bowl. And I'm going to get them started rehydrating with boiling water in the kettle. Well, so I don't have a reference pulled up. I was looking at a few earlier, doing some brainstorming, which led me down this route. But since I'm not following a recipe directly, I'm making something up. What we are going to do is hit up a tablespoon of garlic and onion powders. And a big salt. The grinder might not be quite big enough for this, but I want to really make sure this stuff is pulverized into a flour-like powder, because I want to incorporate it in the flour, and if it's coarser than the flour, then it won't be quite as even as I want it to be. I want it to be real even, because we're breading our chicken. And since our fruit sauce, our orange sauce, isn't going to be nearly as orangey and is going to be much sweeter, I think, than typical orange chicken, I want to amp up the savoriness in other places to balance it out. The orange chicken is sweet, but it's not a dessert. We're going to need the flour tower. We're going to need cornstarch. And baking powder. I'm going to set the board aside for a moment. The water's just about boiled. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these guys. Hopefully this glass doesn't shatter. Just one memento for the water. How is everyone today? I didn't ask at the start. I just started going. I think it's because I'm hungry, and also because I don't know what I'm doing. We're just doing that. We're just pouring boiling water over our dried stuff. It will help it rehydrate, kind of wake up the oils. The oils are the flavor bits that we want. And then we will actually use the water in there for some later things. So anything that does get extracted into that water won't be lost. Although there shouldn't be much. It should just be a little bit of the orange sugars. But this will help soften these guys up a little bit, wake up the flavors, so that later when we use them, they will give to our sauce more freely. Garlic and onion, put those guys back. We're gonna need ginger, regular onion, garlic, let's go with 2, no, let's go with 3, because let me just kill this head, and that third one was pretty small. Green onion, maybe? There's a lot of onion and garlic in this already. It might be excessive, but it'll probably be good as a finishing touch. Ryuya thinks the tteokbokki is the better choice. What's that? I should pull up a reference. Let's see who's the winner today. Well, we've used Walks of Life before, so I think I'm going to pull them. Although I've already made some changes. Orange juice, chicken stock, sugar, vinegar, oyster sauce, salt, dried tangerine peel, dried red chili, star anise, garlic, ginger, cornstarch, scallion. We also need quite a lot of cornstarch in the... Oh, I see what they're doing. Okay. This is a much more elaborate recipe than I think I was intending. Okay. That is quite a bit more of an elaborate recipe. We can try that. In that case, I need to get on the chicken now. So we'll put our vegetable-y elements aside for the moment. Because it wants me to do a quick marinade. And since this is discount bin chicken, I think I do want to do the salted cooking wine trick with it. But we'll just do it in this bowl. Jay! Hello. Purple chicken. No relation to NyQuil chicken, except for the fact that NyQuil chicken is kind of the same thing as purple chicken. But no relation, except for the fact that it's basically the same thing. How's it going, Jay? Can't get my knife out of my... There we go. These were tenders that I found in the bargain bin. So they're already smaller than a whole chicken breast, which makes them better for my opinion. One of the reasons I avoid chicken breast is that modern day chicken breasts are just so freaking gigantic. We might not even use all of these. I might just use... If I use 3 of these, I can vacuum pack 3 of them. If I use 2 of them, I could vacuum pack 4 of them in 2 separate containers and have things later, and that probably is enough chicken for me for 1 serving. So I think we're gonna just grab the 2 biggest ones. Jay, what are you doing? Jay, why are you doing this? Jay, what have I done to you to deserve this treatment? Jay, you know you're not welcome here. Thank you for the resub, Jay. 17 months. 17 months. You know what that is? You know what that is? That's almost a year. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we're just gonna. I think I convinced myself to not make a massive, massive pile of food today. Just now, because the original plan was to cook all 6 of these and make it just a gigantic pile of food. But I talked myself out of it just now, in real time. You saw me. So that's exciting. I'm gonna wash my hand because I need to touch some stuff. Some stuff that's hard to wash, so like the keyboard. I was just saying yesterday how I need to not eat such massive piles of food. I was saying to someone in real life, I need to not eat such massive piles of food. Yesterday, I ate such an enormous lunch that I didn't have dinner until after 10 o'clock. And then I was hungry, so I ate dinner at 10 o'clock, which is also not, like, great. Okay, here's what we're adding to this. According to this, Walks of Life orange chicken. Very fancy recipe. I'm going to take a few tips from it, though. It wants a lot of stuff. Chinese cooking wine, which I have. And I learned it was from the YouTube channel, which I'm remembering the name of now. I think it's called Chinese Cooking Made Easy. It's like a really generic sounding title, but they do really good explanations. It's not just here's how to do something, but there's a lot of why and process involved. And that's where I learned the purpose of this stuff is at this stage of cooking, especially what they consider to be gamey flavors. Fish, pork, chicken, and it takes those gamey flavors out. So actually, what it wants is a pinch of this stuff. What we're making here is functionally a quick marinade, and I might even give it another splash of. So that's a few grinds of pepper, a pinch of our garlic, onion, salt mix, that I'm going to use somewhere else. Just a dash of sesame oil. And a little bit of water. Cold water. And I'm going to give it just a dash of this stuff. Oop. This stuff is salty wine. It's salted rice wine. So you don't want to drink it because it's salty. But yeah, it's supposed to level out gamey flavors. Oh my god. 5:30 and the lawnmower shows up. Idiots. It's supposed to take out gamey flavors and fishy flavors, and it's the same logic used in for making gravlax. You're supposed to use aquavit on the fish, and it's exactly the same thing. It takes the fishiness away, which for something like that, where you want your fish to be very clean tasting because it's not going to be cooked. Anything that's gnarly in there is going to get amplified. So I'm using the same logic here. So we're going to let that sit. There's no acid in there, so it's not going to... If you did this with some acid, it would start to cook the chicken, and I don't want that. Why? Why didn't you show up earlier today to do this? Whatever. You guys probably can barely hear it, but there's lawnmowers and weed whippers going like crazy out there. We're also going to need an egg. And my... If I've only got a small amount, I could probably just do it with the bag. I think we can do it with the bag. I think we're going to do this with the bag. So my breading mixture will be directly in this bag. So that's about half-ish of our onion, garlic, salt mixture. Half a cup of flour. A quarter of cornstarch. Quarter-ish of cornstarch. And a teaspoon of baking powder. Or a half teaspoon of baking powder, since I cut this down by quite a bit. We keep all those guys handy, but we seal this up. In fact, we probably want to seal it with as much air in there as we can get. Because we're going to vigorously shake our flour stuff together here. Because that's going to be the easiest way to get it all incorporated with itself. Yeah. I'm going to let that set to the side. We're going to let the chicken sit to the side and think about what it's done with its life. We're going to keep all these things handy because we're going to need them later. And I guess we're going to start prepping veggies. Oh. So, Jay. Jay specifically. But the rest of you can answer too. What's for dinner? What are you having? Anything good? Something basic? Something favorite? Budget pasta. I have been eating a lot of noodles recently as well. They have been absolutely my go-to. They're tasty and so easy. So I cannot begrudge you budget pasta in any way. In fact, when I'm not cooking for you guys here on the show, I'm a pretty basic cook. Every once in a while, I'll do one that I think can be gussied up to look really pretty, and then you'll see a picture of it. But most of my food doesn't look real nice. It just looks pretty straightforward. Why is this one so hard to peel? What the heck? Get peeled. Weird. It's real sprouty too, so good thing we're using that one. Ooh. Yeah, these garlics aren't in good shape. I think they got old. I think they might have gotten warm too. They keep longer when it's cooler. Take their little tail ends off. There's that fruit fly. He came back. He was gone for a minute. Now he's back. Just lightly crushing. Because I want like some chunky bits of garlic today. I don't want just a mash. But you want to give it a little bit of a crush to get those garlic juices waking up. Tiny, tiny fruit fly. I got him. Okay. Garlic, ginger. Cut the dried bit off the end. Cut up to about yonder. And into half, and then into long strips. And ginger's a very robust spice. Fresh ginger is, so it will actually go in really early when we get to the cooking phase, so I'm going to keep it in its own dish. Yeah. Dried up nubbin gets tossed away. The rest of the ginger can go back down there. Onion. Onion. Onion is not always in... That's the wrong knife. Onion is not always found in your orange chicken. But I like it in the stir fry part of the process. Looks like there's a soft spot in our onion, so let's cut it a little. Let's get the paper off and see what that looks like. Definitely a soft spot on the top of this onion. You can't hardly see it. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Because I've used red onions the past couple of times. These are these weird onions that were probably flowering. I forgot about these. They're also like developing cloves on the inside. I completely forgot that these were still in that batch of onions. Because apparently they weren't all like this. Only some of them, because I've had some good ones. Yeesh. Annoying. Oh, because it makes them hard to cut, too. Because they're slightly soft, so they flex a lot more, and the layers don't hold to each other than a better onion. It's annoying. It annoys me. We got to use them or throw them away, but I hate to throw them away. So we got to use them. Annoying. Annoying. Zizan, hi hi. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? What's for dinner? All that jazz. We're making, as you can see by the color of our ingredients, we're making classic purple chicken today. Whatever that means. Nope, that was the heat sensor on the, you probably didn't hear it. That loud click was the sensor on the kettle switching off. Okay. There we go. So you want your peppers and onions to be round about the same size. And oh heck, they're just going in the same bowl because they're going to go in at the same time. Okay. Chicken, peppers, onions, oranges, hot peppers, ginger, garlic, blackberries, plum jam, garlic flour. And we've only had one vote on our starch base, and it was one vote for tteokbokki. I should have made it an official vote. So if anybody wants a different thing besides tteokbokki, we can definitely make the formalized decision. Otherwise, we should probably start cooking. Yeah. Get out a pan that I can toss. It should be the big white pan. It should be the big white pan. Why is my phone making noises? Phone. Big white pan, because the big white pan can do the tossy toss. And will resist sticking, because we're going to have kind of a sugary sauce. So get us over here. I've been chipping through my oils lately, trying to downsize avocado oil. Yeah. Avocado oil. Heat on. Yeah. Avocado oil, heat on, and it begins. And I want to do the frying on that location there, which is awkward because they don't quite fit with each other. Oh, and if we're going to do tteokbokki, I need water to boil that in as well. So, third burner activate. Awkward. Awkward. We're going to use all the burners. Except for that one. Which is where I should do the frying. Because it'll make more sense, even though it will look less nice for you guys to do it in the back corner. Just because there's not... Because this guy takes up so much room, he kind of impinges on that one. Oil. Oil thermometer. This oil thermometer does not work on a walk. It doesn't reach the oil, even on the small walk there. That's a little awkward. I guess we're gonna periodically probe it with a standard thermometer. Anyways, heat on medium low to get it slowly coming up. When this one is hot, we can start throwing stuff in. So I don't blow a fuse by running the entire oven, the entire range all at once. I don't know if that's a thing, but we have a slow sizzle. I think that's going to be fine to get things started. So in go our peppers and oranges that have been rehydrated. Reserve the water that they were rehydrated in. And I'm going to throw in the ginger at the same time. We're treating the orange like a spice. So we're toasting it at the start. You're going to get these things kind of woken up. Oh, I was going to sort through my blackberries to make sure there weren't any furry ones in here. That's also an important step. Because they came out of the discount bin. Oh, and there are some, actually. So we're losing a little portion of our blackberries to the fur. Ooh, we're losing maybe a significant portion of our blackberries to the fur. They're also a little bit mushy, but that's fine. I'm using them in the cooking recipe, not eating them straight. This is not good entertaining viewing for you guys. You cannot see what I am doing. I'm losing about half of them. I'm losing about half of them, which isn't ideal. So I guess that means, how old are they? I got them yesterday. But they were in the discount bin yesterday. So the store was of the opinion that they were quite old and we're trying to get rid of them. So I got 3 pints of them for $1. which is one of the reasons I wanted to specifically use the blackberries today, because I knew of all the things that I got, they probably have the shortest remaining shelf life. I'm going to pick through this one as well. Oh, that's some fur on that guy. That one looks good. I'm just going to toss them directly up there with you guys. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, if I'd used them yesterday, they probably would have been slightly better. It's not like they're massively furry. There's just a few little spots forming. Well, this second pint is looking better than the first, for sure. We're going to let the heat soften them up, and then we're going to try to mash them down a little bit. Yeah, the second one is way better. That first one was apparently the worst one. As the rhyme says, first is the worst. Second is the best. Yep, I can afford to have some furry ones, and I expected to have some furry ones. Like, I avoided the strawberries. There were strawberries in the discount bin too, and I avoided them because I could see that they were already quite furry as of yesterday. And I knew that by the time I got around to doing anything with them, they'd be super furry. They go real fast, those berries. We are going to throw in a generous handful of our tteokbokki into our boiling water. I think I'm going to use half of this container, actually. Half of the bag. Get out the masher again. Masher, masher. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Mashed purple. Adding to it some of our homemade plum stuff for more purple. It was supposed to be jam. It ended up more like a syrup, but with like little jammy lumps in it because some of the pectin set. It's bizarre stuff. That is about to boil over, which I don't want it to do. Tteokbokki does not take terribly long. Our oil is heating up. It's not yet quite boiling hot, and I just dripped water into it. That's going to be fun when that heats up enough. No, you're a jammy lump. Hi. Welcome in, Bob. Should be able to just mash the remaining little bits of berry apart with the spatula as they soften in the heat here. It's going to be much lumpier than orange chicken for multiple reasons. But the main one is that there's those seeds in there. We're throwing the garlic in. We're going to let that start cooking into it. Ginger's already in there. Our tteokbokki are floating, so I say that means they're done. We can get them off of the heat, set them aside, get to them later. Excuse me. I think I need a colander. I think we're going to strain those guys out a colander. Real quick, real quick. Perfect. Ow. Ew. I burned myself. Okay, back over on this side. The liquid that we used to rehydrate our peppers and oranges, to which we are adding some chicken powder. And, oh, I already have the cornstarch out. Of course I do, because I knew I would need more cornstarch. Am I adding the cornstarch directly to that? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to stir it in to dissolve our chicken powder. We'll add a cornstarch slurry right at the end to seize it up. I don't want to add it too early because our sauce will become too thick if it cooks out too much. But we're amping up the savoriness with chicken powder. In fact, let's go for pepper onion time right now, because I don't think I want those to be really tender, or I want them to be really tender. I don't want them to be really fresh. I want them to be cooked out a lot. Well, the water that I dripped into my oil by mistake is starting to boil a little bit. Yes, I've decided. The decision has been made. Decide time. How do they powder chickens? I don't know. I assume you dry them out and grind them up. We are generously salting all of that to get it to give up more of its liquid. There's going to be quite a bit of sugar in this overall, so I think I'm confident in throwing. We're not using that burner, but also a good shout. Let's temp our oil. Once we're getting in the right realm of temperatures for our oil, we will start frying our chicken. 238, 244, 245. 246, 251. Sometimes it just jumps like crazy. We're not there yet, though, so I'm actually going to turn it up a little bit, help it catch up. But it is getting there, so I think we're going to let our veggies soften and simmer away. Soften and simmer away. Scrape down the sides a little bit, get more of the purple juices in the bottom. Throw in our orange pepper chicken water. Betcha. Didn't expect to see someone pour a bowl of orange pepper chicken water into a larger bowl today. Let's slide back over here, move our cutting board. We don't need the cutting board now. Looks like I got oil on the edge of my cutting board. Be sure to clean that later. We're doing a flour mix. We're doing an egg mix. We're doing this all the shortcut way today. Come on. The shortcut way involves getting stuff stuck in the cabinet. Egg, egg. Put the other eggs away. Just a little bit of water. Oh yeah, it was a very nice haul in the bargain bin. I exclaimed out loud, wow, when I saw it. They had 5 full shopping carts lined up of all sorts of stuff, and I ended up with what you saw, but there was also cassava root, bananas, plums, grapefruits, kale, just tons of stuff. Just like apples and lots of almost everything. So I took my pick. A lot of it looked like it came from the organic section, so I think they might have done a... That was a Woodman's. Yeah, that's Woodman's. My Woodman's is where I get these bargain bin hauls. Always. I've asked some employees about it, because a lot of the times the stuff that they are putting in there is just so nice. I'm shocked that it's going in the bargain bin. And it's just a matter of the new stuff has come in. Or draining the juice off my chicken. It's a matter of the new stuff has come in. And they're making room for it. And rather than throw things away, it was right at the entrance. They do it right at the entrance. Like, again, it's maybe not every Woodman's does it. Right by where the carts are, they'll push out some carts full of produce. Woodman's is a co-op, I think. They always go on and on about how they're employee-owned. Okay, our chickens have gone in the bag with our flour mixture. We seal it up. And just like when we mixed it the first time, we aggressively shake it. And now they're buried in the flour mixture, which my hand is damp. My hand is damp. I don't want damp hand. I don't want damp hand. You want your hand to be bone dry, which is a misnomer because your bones are, in fact, wet. Fun fact, your bones are wet. For now. We pull the chicken pieces out, shake off the powder, and deposit them in our egg bath. And again, I'm going to do them all at once. Because this is also something where we can shortcut it by doing them all at once. And yeah, that's the end of those. My hand is very floury. Hold this one tightly. You don't want this stuff slopping around outside of the container. But in just an instant, they're all now gooped up. And we can, we do need a little more of our flour breading mixture. But yeah, my Woodman's has their discount stuff right at the entrance, but I imagine it depends on the layout of your specific store if they are doing it. Because like the discount meats are backed by the meat department. Discount frozens are in the frozens department, etc., etc. But they push all the like grocery stuff right out by the entrance, and that includes the produce. And most of the grocery stuff is like 1,000 of one thing that never sold. Like it's just heaps and heaps of one thing that nobody was buying. But the produce is where it's really interesting and why I get all this really good produce. Okay. And then they go right back in. Clean my hand off one more time. Not a full wash, just to get the goop off my hand. Because we do another full shake. Be careful not to pop the bag while you're doing this. That would be miserable. You can guess how I know. I've actually tried doing this with two of these, because I have two of these with lids. It does not hold quite tightly enough for the flour, and it poofs out the edges if you try to shake it, which is terrible. I think I may have gone overboard on the vegetable angle of our orange chicken, or our purple chicken. You know, might have gone too far in that direction. Gonna give him a little bit more water, and we can taste for adjustment. Over here. I want to taste this liquid. This liquid that doesn't want to incorporate the purple? What's happening? Maybe blackberries don't work for this. That's always a possibility, that I end up with some property of the fruit does not work the way I want it to. Whoa! Okay, couple things. Whoa, whoa! Harsh. More syrup. Some vinegar. Oh, I'm tempted to just throw in some straight up sugar as well. It's harsh. It needs to get balanced out. Oof, that was not what I was shooting for. Wow. Good thing I tasted it. Got a bitter element to it that I wasn't expecting. Huh. Okay, well, this might be a disaster. This might taste like ass. We're gonna find out together if that's the case. Fried chicken is gonna go catch back there. We're gonna start frying our chickens, because this has got to be over temp. Yes. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna fry our chickens. So here, let me angle you guys up a little bit. You can see more of the back. Since I'm on this side, we'll be using the spider, because I can scoop. Whew, okay. I guess we're gonna have to do a bunch of little tastes of our juice here, because it's not what I was expecting. I'm tempted to strain it out. Better. better. More sugar was the direction it needed. Still a little bit harsh. Okay. And then we're going to do these chickens a few at a time until they are golden brown delicious. And then chuck them in our thing. Ooh, I'm a little concerned about where this has headed. I'm a little concerned about where that has taken us. What do I do about that? What do I do about that? What do I do about that? Glacier, you're home. Welcome home. We're frying the chicken. The chicken is fried. This stuff is tasting a little weird, and I'm trying to think about what I'm going to do with it. No one's heard of purple chicken, but you've heard of orange chicken. Well, this is that, but a different color. That's pretty much the whole concept. Our purple stuff here is made of blackberries and plums. At least the chicken part is going to be good. Because there's no way this is going wrong, right? Right? He says hopefully. Anything you can do with chicken, you can probably do with duck. Duck is much more expensive and hard to come by for me. I've used it. We've used it for sure. But it's a luxury item in the old U.S. of Wisconsin. Okay, I gotta think about what to do with that stuff. It's not as juicy and more vegetable-y than I was originally planning. It's really seedy. It's also quite spicy. It's spicy sweet. Which won't be as big of an issue when I get it on the chicken. But I feel like I should have fished out the peppers and the oranges way back at the start after I got them sort of toasted and infused. Because I think the oranges have given us a bitter element, and the peppers have continued infusing a spice through it. To the point where I think both of those have gone too far. We're also going to taste test one of our chicken bits just to be sure that I'm actually getting them through the middle. They are blazing hot. These taste great. You can just eat these without the stuff. Oh, they're so hot. They're really hot. Damn. Okay. Okay. Let the chicken cool off a little bit more than that. Hot. I have an idea for this stuff. And it is perhaps a dumb one. Perhaps a dumb one. And the idea is that I'm gonna strain it, but that means I need to add liquid to it so that there's enough in there to really pick up the stuff. And I've got a little bit of a cluttered space. Oh, actually, I can use that as a catching. Okay, no, this works. I just have to not lose track of my chickens while we're doing that. Okay. You won't be able to see this really well. I'm adding a significant amount of water and turning the heat off. Gonna get really, really thoroughly stirred in. Before I do this, I'm going to one of them fell. I'm gonna get out a pair of chopsticks so that I can catch that one before it something bad happens to it. That one. We're gonna throw in the next round and they can get themselves. I'm gonna check our temperature because I feel like I'm tanking the temperature when I do this. Yeah, I am, but it also is coming back up quite quickly, so we will throw in our next batch of chicken pieces. Okay, chicken in. This comes with me. I'm straining it out. Because I think it's too chunky and I'm having a hard time controlling the flavors. And every time I add something, I'm dealing with the fact that there are still chunks in there that are trying to infuse more and more into the thing. This should also knock down the seeds that are in it a little bit. Okay. And then actually it knocked down the seeds entirely. Turns out my strainer is sufficient to take out blackberry seeds. Okay, well, we've made a purple liquid. It must have been on your end. All my stuff looks green. That does happen sometimes. Twitch just gets weird. As they say, Twitch be twitching. Okay, well, our purple chicken is going to be much more of a just purple chicken, I guess. This purple liquid needs to be tasted, is thoroughly infused with all those things we put in it. Oh, yes. Oh, it's still a little bit punchy. It's much nicer without those just fighting through some seeds. Okay, so a lesson for this. Because of the seeds in the blackberries, I would suggest mashing the blackberries and straining. Boy, it'd be, if you had like a juicer, that'd be good. Because I think we just want the blackberry juice. Because I don't want all those seeds. Also, fish out the oranges and the hot peppers at the start. Because they sit in there too long and they get really over infused. Anyways, okay, so this is going to end up looking a lot more like a traditional orange chicken, but purple. Because traditional orange chicken doesn't usually have all the bits in it. Maybe garnished with some orange, but it's mostly just the meat and the rice. In our case, it's going to be the meat and the tteokbokki. Oh, how's everyone else doing at this stage? I'm a little trepidatious about my finished result today. It's not quite going as smoothly as I had hoped, but I can tell you where I made my mistakes, and that, I think, is the most important bit. Oh, do I want to adjust the flavors on my juice anymore? Do I want to throw anything else in there? Now that I've got it strained out, I could throw in a little bit of fresh green pepper, just a little bit, to give it some visual character. Because I've got a little tiny one. I think I will do that. I think I will do that. Because one of the peppers, I already got out the seeds. We already did that. We did that while your screen was dark. Or perhaps you're delayed? But I'm going to throw in some fresh green pepper and just cook it lightly. Because I have this teeny tiny one, and that's perfect. I guess we won't have a garnish of oranges. I could probably throw in a couple fresh blackberries right on the top. Jones! Mr. Isosceles Jones. Hello. Welcome. I have been breathing the bad air outside. That's a thing that I've been doing. Boy, have I. We've been on alerts air quality alerts every day for a full week. It was supposed to be just until, I don't know, I think they said Thursday at noon or something. But nope, it just kept going. Just kept going. Just kept going. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. But we have chicken. At least we have chicken. And we have purple. You got down to 80. We had a spell where it was actually in the 70s, and it's been climbing back up. It's supposed to hit 90 end of this week. 90, not quite as hot as what you've got. That sounds terrible. Terrible. Fried chicken. Today I'm having fried chicken. Are you having fried chicken? Oh, you got down to 80 air quality. Oh. Oh. Okay, well, my air quality was 168 today. Which is about where it's been hovering for a week. We had a little dip down in between there, but it bounced right back. We have it terrible. Just terrible. It hasn't been below 100 for days. It's just real bad. Although it's a little bit different. It doesn't smell. Maybe I just gotten used to it. That could be. It was for a while so bad that I walk outside and it smelled like a tar fire. I haven't been able to smell it, so unless I either got used to it or I burned out all of my smell receptors, or something. But yeah, I wake up every day with a scratchy throat. Even inside the house, it's enough of it's getting in. Outside, it's visible haze pretty much constantly. But yeah, don't worry. This is perfectly normal. Climate's not changing. Nothing is different. When we were kids, this happened all the time. I don't know what the how it controls various elements of it. But yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty princess. Okay. Chicken is all fried up. Our chicken is all fried up. I've got the heat back on our purple juice. Visible haze. Gross. Purple haze chicken. Oh my God. Yes, I didn't even think of that. Okay. Our fresh green bell pepper to give us a little bit of character. I definitely overloaded my pan with stuff. I probably shouldn't have put that onion in there. And I probably honestly should have strained everything out much earlier. Our tteokbokki are sticking. I have to say tteokbokki like that. I don't know why. They stick to each other and they stick to the pan. Ooh, and they splash like crazy. We resulted in tteokbokki because when I asked opinions about starches, we had exactly one response from Ryuya, who said, "Oh, tteokbokki could be interesting." Not even a, "You should do tteokbokki." He's like, "Huh, that's an interesting idea." And that's why voting matters. This nonsense has been decided by one vote. Heat up. And now we're getting our cornstarch slurry ready to thicken this into a glossy, delicious sauce. I'm going to retaste it again. It's sweet. Taizen, you're not first. Congratulations. Also, congratulations. You caught me off guard once again. Without a glass for moisten. Which also means that I haven't had any water since we started. Moist. I did have a glass of water before we started, so I'm not totally dropping the ball. We're going to cook this out a little bit. Carrot slivers. I did see your message, Ryuya. Carrot sliver. This looks like a red wine thing. It's sweet and bitter, which is a really weird combination. It's also quite spicy, but the spice is quite slow acting. This is not a magic channel. Keep that magic nonsense out of here. Hi, Spear. All slippers have vitamin A. Yeah, that's how they work. Carrot. I'd have to put them in right now. I actually think it might be a good idea because it might help with our flavor balance. So while that stuff is starting to simmer, we're just going to really go ham on this here carrot. Baking soda to help decrease the bitterness. Is that what that does? It's bitter, and I'm certain it's bitter because of the orange rind that I left in too long, and probably the blackberry cores, those little white things in the middles of the blackberries. Possibly the blackberry seeds as well, being in there too long. Again, I feel like you really want to strain this thing out. This is a learning experience for all of us, but mostly for me. Throw those in there. A little bit of baking soda. Good night, MJ. Thank you for being here. Pictures will, of course, be all in the usual places. We don't want too much. We want just a... That's just a tiny little sliver of it in there. Hey. Whoa! Okay, baking soda is a bad idea, but not for the reasons that you think. Apparently, the blackberry juice is a litmus indicator. And the color that it turns is a really gnarly radioactive dark green. That's an interesting thing to learn. Also, I was not stirring this enough. I got distracted by things. And our tteokbokki started to stick, which makes me want to put in... Actually, what I'm going to do is... give us a shot of vinegar. Well, today I learned. Yeah, in retrospect, that makes sense. A lot of the purple plant pigments are litmus indicators. We here, you and me, have played with purple cabbage. It turns this really interesting light blue. But I guess blackberry is the same deal, but the other color is this nasty dark green. I'm going to have to remember that one, because that was kind of a shocking color that it took on. Okay, we do need... So, no more of that. We reacidified it to take it back the other direction. I did only add a tiny bit of baking soda, so it wasn't massive. But I think it worked for the bitterness. I think it worked. It accomplished the goal. It's obviously more sour now, more acidic, because I had to rebalance it with some vinegar. But it does seem to be noticeably less bitter. We're throwing in our cornstarch slurry. Stirring that through. Stuff is trying to stick. We're throwing in our chicken. Our chimkins. And then the reason I got this is because I want to do a tossy toss, tossy toss, tossy toss. And we don't leave the chicken in there too long because we don't want it to get soggy. We want to serve it right away. Heat off. Serving bowl. Serving bowl, serving dish, serving... Old standby. Old standby it is. Because once you get the cornstarch in your sauce, then you pretty much toss the chicken in right away and then toss the whole thing together, because the cornstarch will cause the sauce to thicken quite quickly. That's going to be a fun pan to clean. Eggplant beet, I knew beets. Blueberry, turmeric. Interesting. We are going to arrange chickens toward the top because they're our main event. Made a little bit of a mess on the sides of the pan. By pan, I mean plate. It's not as vibrantly purple, and it wasn't even before the baking soda. It was already kind of losing it. That happens with a lot of fruits and vegetables. They lose their vibrant color the longer you cook them. And this one's been simmering for a while because I've been futzing with it. But it's not as beautifully purple as the... I was just about to go get some of those right here. It's not as beautifully purple as the blueberry butterflies. Okay, some grunion. We probably only need a small one. But they're all so long. But yeah, some of this, and we just really long angle and there, I guess that's it. Purple chicken tteokbokki. I think that the tteokbokki was a good choice because the tteokbokki has taken up more of the purple color than the chicken did, so you can see the purple. But also the purple is less of a intense purple than the blueberries. It's got much more of a reddish tone to it. Let's take a picture of this. Oh my God, my camera station is a complete disaster. I didn't prepare at all. I didn't prepare at all for this. Who has done this to me? Who's responsible for this? Certainly not me. The problem is, of course, that my camera station is also just a convenient little table when it's not being used for taking food photos, so things get put there. Ooh, before I take that photo, dash of black sesame, dash of white sesame. Those always make things look a little fancier. And I want to put in just like 2 blackberries on the top. 2 nice ones if I can find them. Oh, turns out the third thing of blackberries is the nicest looking one of them all. Almost none of them are even smushed in here, and none of them are furry. Should have started with this one. Oh, okay, there's one that's got a little bit on the fuzz on the bottom. Actually, I shouldn't have started with this one because then I'd be throwing away probably the entirety of one of those other ones. A couple blackberries perched there. Okay. You'll see it. You'll see it when this is the longest photo. Okay, I got an update on my air quality. It's down to 100. Take a backup photo just in case that one was fuzzy. Boy, the blackberries really are black on the camera, aren't they? This is why YouTube chefs take their photos off camera, or not live. Obviously off camera. Come on. Okay, hopefully one of those came out. Okay. Because it looks like red wine. It looks like red wine pasta. Pasta cooked in red wine. Pasta au vin. I don't think that flavor would go here. I don't think that flavor would work here at all. But I also was looking at this partway through with the tteokbokki and thinking, boy, this just looks like red wine pasta, doesn't it? Let's give it a taste. The fun part. Wow, surprised that took me 2 hours. I felt like I went real fast today, but I guess I did a lot of things and got sidetracked. Well, fried chicken is just delicious, so. And it takes a lot of the punch out of our purple sauce, having it with something. Turning that purple, straining out the solid bits and turning it into just a purple sauce was a great idea. So it's subtly sweet. It's got this slow spice that comes up behind. I think we nailed the bitterness. It's very like glossy, sticky. It's a sticky. It's a thick, sticky sauce. It's the consistency of orange chicken sauce. That syrupy, sticky sauce. This is less sour than orange chicken and more sweet. There's a little bit of a tang in there. I'm honestly not getting a ton of blackberry flavor. The blackberries also don't have a ton of blackberry flavors, so maybe that's the reason. They're super overripe. So they taste just like sweet. So that's probably why the flavor is not coming through real strong. If you've never had tteokbokki, they are these lovely, bouncy, chewy nuggets of goodness. And they're often served with a sauce like this, not purple, but a sweet, spicy sauce. Often just them with the sauce, that's it. So they go really well with this. And then, yeah, the chicken has retained its... it's not crispy. I think I'd have to double batter it for it to maintain the crisp. And also be a little snappier on getting it in the sauce right after I fried it. Carrots and peppers. They don't seem to be imparting much flavor to the sauce as a whole. They give a nice textural contrast. They're both tender crisp, which means that they would not have been in there long enough to really infuse flavors into the sauce. But there was green pepper in the sauce to begin with that I strained out. So the sauce has that flavor in there. The fresh green pepper actually tastes really nice. The carrot is giving me a lot more of a nice texture. The carrot has its own sweetness, but it hasn't imparted much sweetness to the surrounding sauce. I'm not getting a carroty flavor from the sauce. I'm just getting a carroty flavor from the carrot directly, which is nice to have for contrasting elements. Let's grab one of everything here. I do use a lot of green onions. Glacier. And they are very easy to grow. The ones I buy from the store, I save the little root things and plant those. Start them in a little dish of water just so that they get moving, get some roots pushing out. But you put them in dirt and they just start shooting up leaves. And then whenever you need one, instead of pulling one out, you go and you just cut. And oftentimes I won't cut the whole thing. I will just cut one leaf. Because that, like for this was one leaf. So then that green onion that I cut has two more. And I tried to cut the oldest one rather than the youngest one to give it the best chance. And they do great in like window boxes as well. They're really easy to take care of in general. Obviously, things can go wrong. But yeah. Habanero plant. I have never had any luck growing peppers, so you're one up on me there. I also don't have like a proper garden, so. I don't think this is going to be unseating orange chicken anytime soon, but it is mighty tasty. And holy crap, did it make a mess. It made a mess. That is the thing. If you start growing your own produce, you can pickle it, you can make sauces out of it, you can make all sorts of preserve items out of it. and then you don't have to buy those, and they keep basically forever. Vinegared things keep virtually forever, not literally forever, but virtually forever. I want to taste some of the stuff I strained out to see if I'm missing. No, it's a piece of onion was almost tasteless. Yeah, I basically cooked out all those vegetables into the sauce. They don't taste like much anymore. So I guess taking them out was the right choice because it made our plate look a lot nicer. It would have been very messy to have all those cooked down veggies on here. Yeah, and we just crossed over 2 hours, so I think I'm going to wrap us up. Do we think? Do we think Chef is going to be on? Who is on? There's a channel called Hot Dish Grey Duck. I bet you I know where they're from. These people have great names. Chefin' with Chefry. Ooh, Jen is on. With Star Trek convention prep. We might go see Jen. Jen's not cooking, but I haven't seen Jen in a while. LaFay is also on. Playing Claire Obscure. We're going to go see Jen. Jen is on a break, on a BRB. So we will hopefully hit Jen as she comes back from her BRB. Ray has got us hooked up with the raid messages as always. Dancing Dinos if you're not a sub, and my little happy Jupiter face if you are a sub. Thank you all for showing up, sticking around, bearing with me during all this nonsense. This isn't the most nightmarish cleanup we've ever had, but it is definitely in the upper echelons. Between hot oil, purple stain goo, a bunch of chicken stuff, it's going to be a fun one. So wish me luck. But also, I'm going to eat this while it is still nice and piping hot, so that's step one. Yeah. I guess I don't have much more to say, other than thanks. There's a thing up over the top of my let's see. Nobody did anything except for Jay. Jay resubscribed, but as I said when he did so, he's not welcome here. There's our countdown. Bye. I'm going to have to manually follow you guys because I clicked off the thing, so it's not going to take me with